moving across Kenya, improving Kenyans' lives by saving them money, offering brilliant stain removal in one wash.
Wino ni mojawapo wa madoa sugu ambayo hayatoki kwa nguo, sio?
Let us see which detergent removes stubborn stains.
Na tofauti kwa hizi vitambaa zangu mbili. Kitambaa gani imeokoa pesa kina mama?
Napenda Ariel kwa sababu mwosho wake ni mmoja tu.
Hata ndio hii nimenunua mara yangu ya kwanza.
Watch out for the Ariel challenge coming to a town near you.
Close Up Deep Action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close Up Deep Action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
Geisha shea butter and honey, made with the goodness of shea butter to moisturize dry skin.
Be strong and last long.
Enjoy Good Life new shopping experience. Seek and you shall find. Visit www.goodlife.co.ke to shop. Search and pick your preferred product. Check out and give your location details. Pick your payment method and wait for your delivery to arrive. It's quick. Click and pick.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu. Hata kufua nguo na Ariel mpya. Unaniamini sasa?
Ariel huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja. Ijaribu leo uamini.
Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant with the power of black carbon formula. 48-hour protection from sweat and bacteria. For a deep, clean feeling that lasts. New Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Official sponsor of Real Madrid.
This is NTV.
Hello there, it is Thursday and you are tuned into NTV. Thanks so much for joining us. These are our top stories.
Tonight, 1,459 new infections, 17 more deaths. And tributes to fallen heroes.
It is quite devastating that the care that you give, you cannot receive it.
Lost on the COVID-19 front line. Also tonight, court rules the government out of order for closing down schools. And orders a resumption of in-person classes for all learners in 60 days. Plus, there's no let-up in the bloodletting in troubled Kapedo.
And the level of impunity where it has reached now is even too much.
The guns are out, disturbing the fragile peace, and 4 people lay dead when they went silent. And also tonight, another fine mess as the NMS and Nairobi County squabble over parking revenue. But the hefty fines for non-compliance are taking a toll on motorists.
Na sisi hatuna pesa. Hata pengine unaachia ngali na mkubwa, mdosi wako ule amekuandika kazi. Amekuambia shika hii 200 ulipe.
NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi.
It is 9 o'clock. David Agondoa joins us in sign language interpretation tonight. And let's begin with a pulse check of the country's coronavirus situation. 1,459 more people have tested positive for the virus in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 10,146. This brings the country's caseload up to 74,145. 17 patients have succumbed to the virus, bringing the total number of fatalities to 1,330. On a positive note, those 780 patients have been discharged after recovery, and that brings the country's total recoveries to 50,658. Nairobi still has the highest number of infections at 472, followed by Kiambu with 311, Mombasa with 108, and Laikipia with 63. Meanwhile, the High Court has ordered in-person learning to resume for all classes not later than 60 days from today and banned community-based learning, terming it illegal. In his ruling, Justice Makau held that President Uhuru Kenyatta had no power under the Basic Education Act to order the open-ended closure of schools in Kenya earlier this year. Oko Okusa reports.
In a 107-page judgment, Justice Makau also held that the open-ended closure of schools in the country was a violation of Kenya's school-enrolled children and the learners' right to education. The judge also declared unconstitutional the decision by Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha to prolong the open-ended closure of schools, saying that the CS acted unilaterally without consulting the parents or guardians of the school-enrolled children, the affected learners, together with the National Education Board and the respective county education boards. The court also banned the community-based learning programs introduced by the state and ordered that the reopening ensures that health and safety guidelines are observed. The petitioner Joseph Aura had sued the CS for Education, Ministry of Health, the National Council for Children's Services and the Attorney General. CS Magoha, however, declined to react on the ruling during an inspection tour in Kisumu today.
I have no comment, in capital letters. I have no comment. Absolutely no comment. I'm a worker for the people. You will see me working at the point where the rubber meets the road. Are we together? At that point, you are likely to find some friction.
That friction appears to have landed the CS in hot soup with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission after he was captured on camera reprimanding an education official in Eldoret recently. But Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli says the CS was in order.
Now when they hear about Fitina issues on the CS, they are rushing there. Oh, we are investigating. What are you investigating? An obvious matter. There must be discipline in our institutions. We must have disciplinarians as leaders. We must have cabinet secretaries who are disciplined.
Once again, the tough-talking CS weighed in on the ongoing debate about school fees, warning parents to be ready with the funds when schools reopen on 4th January 2021.
And our instructions have been very clear that as our parents struggle, and we understand as they struggle, let them be sincere so that those who can pay should pay, and those who can pay in bits can pay in bits, and those who can't pay completely, then we would want to listen to them.
But even as the CS spoke, education stakeholders in Kisii County criticized its ministry for underfunding learning institutions.
Let them send their money as early as next month, so that we have 1 month at least to prepare for the resumption of schools.
Oko Okusa, NTV.
Now, what needs to happen before the government actually heeds the now desperate calls of healthcare workers who have simply been asking for protection as they put their lives on the line to save our fellow countrymen and women from the coronavirus? The calls, it appears, are still falling on deaf ears as more doctors and nurses die of COVID-19. Helen Aura attended the memorial service of one more fallen hero.
Tears flowed and hearts broke as colleagues and loved ones gathered to mourn and celebrate yet another life taken by the deadly coronavirus. Senior physician and senior medical superintendent at the Thika Level 5 hospital, Dr. Jacqueline Njoroge, is now among the 30 healthcare workers who have succumbed to COVID-19. While the medical fraternity are trying to hold strong, they say they're being weakened by an unsupportive government.
Some of the conditions within which our health workers got sick and they didn't get medical care. A doctor, one of the plastic surgeons, who actually died because they couldn't get an ICU bed. It is quite devastating that the care that you give, you cannot receive it.
Over 2,000 doctors have tested positive for COVID-19 countrywide. Health workers are urging the government to shift their priorities away from politics and focus their efforts and funding on the pandemic and the health sector.
It is disheartening to seriously ignore the frontline workers. PPEs are lying somewhere in Kemsa when doctors are dying. Don't think doctors are sick upstairs to call for a strike.
Months into the pandemic, and doctors are still pushing for comprehensive health cover that would cushion them during the current and future pandemics. They also want a Health Service Commission to be constitutionalized to help address their concerns. Helen Aura, NTV.
Well, Nakuru County residents are yet again mourning now the death of Samuel Mbugua, who was the member of County Assembly for London Ward in Nakuru Town. His death comes barely 2 weeks after the death of Hell's Gate MCA John Njuguna, who succumbed to COVID-19. Samuel died while receiving treatment at the Nakuru War Memorial Hospital after he was taken ill this Tuesday, where he was diagnosed with liver and pancreas failure, before he later complained of breathing complications. County leaders, including Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, have eulogized Mbugua as a passionate leader who fought for the well-being of his people. Early this month, the Nakuru County Assembly had shut its offices after some workers tested positive for the virus.
Saturday tulimzika mheshimiwa wa Hell's Gate wa Susi ambaye alienda na COVID. Na kwa huyu mheshimiwa, ile ripoti tuko nayo kuanzia jana kwa madaktari ni kwamba Tuesday akiwa bunge alilalamika na tumbo, na alipoletwa akaonekana alikuwa na shida ya pancreas.
Tumekuwa affected sana na mambo ya corona katika Nakuru County as a whole, na pia kama County Assembly sikadhai hakuna corona, lakini Sami hakuwa na corona wakati tulikuwa tumechukua hizo samples na ikatestiwa Jumatatu iliyopita. Hata ingawa sasa masiku imepita na tuwezi jua sana, lakini saa hii tunasema sio corona ambayo imemuua Sami kulingana na vile madaktari wamesema.
Right, from the courts now, and a 63-year-old woman accused of child trafficking has been released on a cash bail of 100,000 shillings. Police had wanted Rose Nyambeki detained further to allow for more investigations into allegations that she tried to steal twins from hospital on the 14th of October. Police say one twin died 3 days later on the 17th of October, while another is still admitted at the Kenyatta National Hospital. The court ordered that she reports to any police station. Well, it was business as usual at the Kenyatta International Convention Centre in Nairobi after the official launch of the Collection of Signatures event for the Building Bridges initiative that was to be held there was cancelled. The move to cancel the event has created uncertainty as it further delays the journey towards the much-touted referendum.
Early morning, the tents that had been erected at Kenyatta International Convention Center grounds for the event had been dismantled. Workers were busy clearing the ground. This is the clearest signal that the first step towards the much-touted referendum had aborted. Uncertainty now hangs over the exercise of collecting signatures to actualize proposals made in the BBI report, and the silence from the organizers of the aborted event was deafening. The event was cancelled moments after President Uhuru Kenyatta held private talks with his deputy William Ruto at State House on Wednesday. But KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has denied the cancellation was triggered by Ruto.
That might have not been connected to BBI. That one I can tell you for free. But what I know, President Uhuru Kenyatta has laid a foundation of his schedule of activities that he wants them to be fulfilled before he leaves the office. And those activities and BBI being one of them will never, I can use the word shall, never be swayed by any other person from President Uhuru.
NC leader Musalia Mudavadi says when President Kenyatta met 5 political leaders at State House a few days ago, his understanding was that there will be room for changes to the document.
Perhaps this is some kind of divine intervention, which gives Kenyans room to quickly close ranks on the areas that were extremely contentious.
You have got to gazette another steering committee to work on those inclusion and what have you. That time is long gone. Where people are going for signatures. I've not seen contentious issues that can prompt consensus.
The BBI National Secretariat had claimed that the event was postponed due to a delay in publishing of the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020. But so far, Kenyans are still waiting for the bill, which is not yet out. Besides that, there is no word yet on when the launch will take place. There are reports that allies of the president are pushing for consensus on the document before publication of the bill. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Elsewhere, 4 people have died in a gun attack this morning in Kapedo, barely a week after the government led a series of peace meetings with leaders from the Greater Rift Valley and the warring communities. The government now says it will set off an intense disarmament to rid the area of illegally held guns. Bridget Singana reports.
Hapa tena tuambie kwamba mtu amewawa upande wa Kapedo.
But peace in the troubled badlands of Kapedo is often fleeting, held hostage to the coldness of gun barrels that the communities have kept trained on each other. The guns are back out, and when they fell silent, 4 people had died. They were in a group of 30 men that were fetching firewood when they were ambushed. The attack coming just days after a peace meeting between the area leaders and Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya, which was followed by a solemn declaration, never again.
They have said that if we go there, we should be prepared for war, because they're not going to, they'll move over their dead body. And this are civilians telling government, yeah? And the level of impunity where it has reached now is even too much. And we just need to address it with all the legal and all other means are available to us.
But even before the ink had dried, the leaders had drawn the daggers, and as citizens trade bullets, they trade verbal jabs. The government now hopes to change tact and promises to respond with ruthlessness.
Anybody who carries an illegal firearm has got ill intention. The force that we use, that we are supposed to use, must be in proportion to what they also have. When you talk peace to some of these people, they take it as a sign of weakness. So the response is to go and kill people and steal, just to say that, no, what, you came here and we did nothing. Then why can't you speak the language they understand?
Efforts to restore peace in this bleak expanse that lies on the borders of Baringo and Turkana have been protracted. What starts as a manageable conflict evolving into something more sinister, leaving it to the periodic deployment of the uniformed officers to bring calm. But even they are at times no match for a community that lives every day in the shadow of the gun. In 2014, more than 20 officers on a peace mission were killed in an ambush, and this has since led to the establishment of police and military bases in the vast region. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
And back to the capital, Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General Mohammed Badi once said that where new processes have begun, problems are bound to rise. But the evident lack of harmony between the NMS and the Nairobi County government seems to be trickling to almost every sector, with parking services not being spared. Gina Kirori now reports that the two different parking codes in the city may be a deeper sign of the cracks in the relationship between the two sides, leaving motorists as collateral damage.
It would appear that history is repeating itself, because barely 1 year after a new code for digitally paying for parking was introduced, the confusion is back as the NMS and the county government fight for supremacy. In the past 1 year, you may have been accustomed to using the *235 hash code to pay for your parking fee, but in August, NMS introduced their own code, *647 hash. The county government, in an advertisement in one of the dailies, wants motorists to continue using the code *235 hash only.
Sasa tufanye nini? Juu unajaribu kulipa na ile inakataa. Ukikataa kulipa, wale wanakuja kuangalia na ile simu yao wametoleo na hiyo inaitwaje? NMS hiyo. Unajaribu kulipa inakataa. Lakini wakikuja kuangalia na simu yao, wanasema wanakuweka kwa system.
Hata ukilipa na ya Sonko, pesa inaingia. Na wakikuja hawa NMS, inasemekana parking hujalipa, ijaingia kwao. So kuna complication au wenyewe ni kama hawajaelewana.
Sources at City Hall told NTV this confusion is affecting revenue collection, with daily collection from parking now just under 1 million from the previous figures of between 2 to 3 million shillings. NTV has also learned that the contract between the county and KRA to collect revenue on its behalf is binding, and the code for digital collection is owned by KRA and not NMS as claimed by some at City Hall. And in the middle of the mistrust are confused citizens.
Hii NMS wakikuja wana clamp na phone na system. Kwa hivyo akiangalia gari yako kama hujalipa, inakupeanga 5 minutes. Usipokuwa umelipa, usipokuwa umekiribia kulipa, after 5 minutes inakuletea message nyingine uko na penalty ya 2,200.
It is yet another tug of war between the county government and NMS, which has spilled over this time to motorists who have faced confusion when trying to pay for parking because the two different codes just don't add up. Gina Kirari, NTV, Nairobi.
Well, let's see if and when that'll be resolved. All right, it's 1:15. We're taking a break on the broadcast, but whether you're 15 or 50, you don't want to miss this. Coming up on your screens, welcome to the Dubai Miracle Garden. Filled with giant flowers and plant topiaries, some featuring popular Disney characters such as Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and also an Emirates plane, as you saw. This is the world's largest flower garden that uses millions of flowers to create these incredible scenes that just take your breath away. This is our moment of calm tonight.
All day, we expect our mouth to do all kinds of things. That is why it needs all-round protection. New Oral-B Pro Health toothpaste. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because your mouth is doing more than you think. New Oral-B Pro Health. All-round protection for your whole mouth.
Fresh Fry Premium Cooking Oil now has a new look and an advanced spout and seal. Triple refined, zero cholesterol and natural vitamin E. Fresh Fry, always heart friendly. Now it's even more cooking friendly. Fresh Fry, the premium cooking oil for healthy living.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys.
Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola. GoTV's everyone's favorite place this festive. A place to connect.
Showtime.
A place of endless possibilities. A place of victory. A place where friendship means everything. Where you find love in its purest form.
GoTV's everyone's favorite place this festive. Download my GoTV app to easily manage your account on the go. Stay connected for the best of local and international entertainment for the whole family. GoTV. Love it.
Ah, Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Every time Gran arrives, she always has a small reward for her.
I made this for you today.
Ah, thank you, my baby. It's so beautiful.
Wow!
She's happy, and I trust it because it's made with milk and other carefully controlled ingredients without any colorings or preservatives. Care has been taken to make it. I love to see her happy because it meets her taste and fantasy. Kinder Joy, my trust, their joy.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Oya ni aje, mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya Bale into the freshest Iggy kosi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel Touch of Down mpya tu.
Welcome back. Let's get back to the security beat now. And President Uhuru Kenyatta says the government will continue to invest in equipment, technology and training for law enforcement to ensure they can cope with modern-day challenges. But as Leila Mohammed now reports, the country is not just worried about beefing up its internal security, but has an eye on the goings-on in the region as well.
The security of a nation is only as good as the men and women who man its borders and patrol its cities. And this involves giving them the right tools for the job.
Indeed, just this morning we sat in the National Security Council and we approved for additional equipment, especially to our special units like yourselves, for body armor, for vehicles, for weaponry.
President oversaw the handing over of new lecture halls, barracks, integrated communication center and staff houses, while pointing out the importance of modern technology and cutting-edge training to deal with emerging security threats.
We recognize the importance of security in the realization of peace and sustainable social economic development, and this is the reason I have paid particular focus on the security sector since coming into office.
But while Kenya is beefing up its internal security, the regional threats are also top of his mind.
In the last 10 or 20 years, there's always been a delicate balancing act between how much should Kenya be engaged in the region and how much should it focus on its own issues internally. But those two issues are not mutually exclusive. There are things that have to be done at the same time.
Kenya recently hosted a delegation from the government of Ethiopia on the rising tensions in the Tigray region, with thousands fleeing the fighting, finding refuge in neighboring Sudan.
It has a responsibility not only to ensure that the problems in the neighboring countries do not spill over, but that also the internal problems in those countries are resolved.
But while Kenya's northern neighbors have often presented a security challenge along the country's borders, security analysts are of the view that Kenya should pay closer attention to the political upheavals in Uganda and Tanzania. A truckload of arms confiscated in Malaba on its way to Uganda yesterday raised eyebrows within security circles.
If in fact belongs, for instance, the government of Uganda, then the government of Uganda has legitimate right to import weapons. It's a landlocked country. And I think the challenge comes when the consignment belongs to private individuals or private actors who are non-state actors. That can pose a big challenge, not just to Uganda as a country, but actually to Kenya itself.
The president has pledged expanded medical and housing schemes for police officers to improve their welfare. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Well, across the border now, the death toll from 2 days of countrywide protests over the arrest of Ugandan opposition presidential hopeful and musician Bobi Wine has risen to 16. More than 60 people have been injured and another 300 arrested. This is what the situation was like when protesters took to the streets over Bobi Wine's arrest for flouting COVID-19 guidelines that require presidential candidates to address less than 200 people.
Rioting broke out in Kampala and other towns around the country as the news of the arrest of the National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi began to spread. In downtown Kampala, police quickly deployed and began using tear gas and live bullets to disperse the crowds. Police have confirmed that 3 people have lost their lives and 34 have been injured as a result of the rioting in Kampala. However, the statement from police says the cause of death will be revealed after conducting post-mortem examinations. As the riots were raging, President Museveni's billboards were torn down and people were compelled to take off any yellow items of clothing. In Iganga, business and transport came to a standstill for over 5 hours after police, backed up by the UPDF soldiers, took on hundreds of protesters demanding for the Kyagulanyi's release. Similar scenes played out in Masaka, where protesters blocked all major roads leading into and out of the city. Kyagulanyi was expected in Masaka on Thursday for a number of campaign meetings, and supporters had already started mobilizing ahead of the visit. The spokesperson for the Masaka-based UPDF Armored Brigade said the army was called in to prevent destruction of property and loss of life.
Around Nyendo, what is happening? People are stealing, they are robbing shops, they are stealing people's things. So our main role here is to ensure that people have peace.
In Busia, the riots paralyzed the flow of trucks across the border, causing huge delays in movement of goods across the border to and from Kenya. There were similar riots in other towns like Jinja, Luwero and Mityana.
Our colleague there reporting from Uganda. All right, back home now. And it was a birthday that Mama Susan will never forget. Her son, 32-year-old Frederick Odindo, her daughter, 34-year-old Lillian Adiambo, and her nephew, 36-year-old Kevin Oma, mysteriously disappeared on Monday in Eldoret town. The 3 are said to have been abducted in broad daylight and are still missing. Gabriel Kudaka visited their home in Langas, Eldoret.
Monday, 16th November 2020, marked Mama Susan Odindo's 50th birthday. To celebrate her milestone, her children headed out to Eldoret town to shop for the upcoming party. But a distress call from Lillian was the last communication.
Bado dakika 10 fika saa 7, mtoto ananipiga simu, "Woi mam, kuna watu wamekuja wametushika. Wanataka kutuweka kwa gari." Saa hiyo ndio simu yake ilienda off.
In a panic, family members rushed to search for their loved ones.
Kufika town nilipata kofia na viatu pande moja ya kijana yangu. si kupata watoto.
Eyewitnesses claim the three were abducted by around 8 men who were driving a black Subaru and a Toyota Axio. Some of the men were believed to be armed with pistols and handcuffs.
Nasikia hata wife alikuwa ameambiwa aende juu alikuwa na shopping, kaenda akaona hakuna haja ni waje brother. Hakuja hiyo alikuja akashika kwa gari, kazindiliwa gari pia.
This is the exact spot where 3 family members were abducted in broad daylight, moments after shopping from Naivas supermarket, which is just across the road, about 100 meters from where I am. And eyewitnesses say, after being bundled in the car drove off towards Langas Kisumu Road. Frederick works as a mechanic in Kisumu. Lillian runs a kiosk in Langas, and Kevin is a carpenter in Nairobi. The motive for their abduction is unknown.
Kutishiwa maisha hakuaminiambia.
Police are investigating the incident that has left the family in distress.
My daughter number 2 huyu analia. Kwangu mimi inani affect kabisa as a mother. So anything, mtu akipata tu any information, please conduct to any police station.
Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Clearly a family in distress, and their appeal, if you have heard or know anything, please do contact the nearest police station. All right, the business news is coming up next, but first, if you're afraid of heights, well, this one's not for you. Towering more than 300 meters up the cliff face that inspired the landscape for the blockbuster movie Avatar, the world's highest outdoor lift whisks brave tourists to breathtaking views. The 3 double-decker elevators in one of China's forest parks zip up the cliff in just 88 seconds, a speedy attraction as domestic tourism slowly recovers in China after the coronavirus forced strict travel measures and lockdowns earlier this year. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I would be up for that.
I compromise it all. Either my skin is sensitive or my back's against the wall.
You can have it all. What? Always brings it all.
Okay.
Get it all with new Always 2-in-1. Featherlight softness overall, even on the wings, girl. And rapid dry channels.
Let me see, make a move, be it all, do it all, have it all.
Always 2-in-1 feathery soft.
Namba anayokumbuka pekee ni star 334 hash. Kwa sababu namba zingine za paybill ziko M-Pesa. Dial star 334 hash, select 6 for lipa na M-Pesa, then select what you're paying for. You can now shop, pay for transport and parking, pay for county licenses, and so much more. Kwa kuweka kila kitu kwa namba moja, tumerahisisha mambo ili uweze kuendelea kufanya vitu unavyopenda ukitumia M-Pesa.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu. Hata kufua nguo na Ariel mpya. Unaniamini sasa?
Ariel huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja. Ijaribu leo uamini.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys.
Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
I got the admission letter to Alliance Girls High School. I wasn't excited because my parents weren't employed at that time, so I wouldn't have gone to school without financial support. I heard about the Equity Wings to Fly program. I applied and I was able to get in. They paid for everything, literally everything that I needed. After high school, we were recruited into the Equity Leaders program, and we got an internship at the bank and college counseling. I was expecting to go to school in September, but due to the pandemic, we were told that the classes are going to be online. Equity conducted sessions on how to adapt to the new changes and how to maneuver through the classes. I'm also doing the Equity mentorship for the Wings to Fly students who are still in school. After getting into Ashes University, I was still supported by Equity. Once I finish, I'd like to pursue a master in engineering, and after all that, I'd like to start my engineering company. I'd like also to start an initiative like the one Equity started, to sponsor students through their education, supporting their dreams.
Athi Waterworks Development Agency has moved. The new space is bigger and better. We have renewed our commitment to accelerate access to clean water and improved sanitation. Visit us at Athi Water Plaza on Muthaiga North Road off Kiambu Road. Athi Waterworks Development Agency, accelerating access to water and sanitation.
The Aerial Challenge is moving across Kenya, improving Kenyans' lives by saving them money, offering brilliant stain removal in one wash.
Wino ni mojawapo wa madoa sugu ambayo hayatoki kwa nguo, sio?
Let us see which detergent removes stubborn stains.
Na tofauti kwa hizi vitambaa zangu mbili. Kitambaa gani imeokoa pesa kina mama? Napenda Aerial kwa sababu mwosho wake ni mmoja tu. Hata ndio hii nimenunua mara yangu ya kwanza.
Watch out for the Aerial Challenge coming to a town near you.
This actually allegedly happened down south this week.
Sally, touch your stomach. Are you working?
No, Papa.
Hii ni njaa gani yenye mtu anakushika tu tumbo na immediately anajua wewe hata kazi hauna?
Touch your stomach. Are you working?
No, Papa.
Niweza tu explain hiyo horsepower.
Yeah, okay. Horsepower is
ni horse.
Horse, not horsepower.
How much time does it take to master gari your design?
Said you have to be really interested.
Si ujua madem wote uko interested in gari.
Labda kubebwa.
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate.
Welcome back. Business news now. The Senate Standing Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industrialization now wants Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Minor to respond to concerns of alleged abuse of dominance by East African Breweries Limited. In a statement issued by the clerk of the Senate, that's J.M. Ngenye, the Senate wants the CS to explain why EABL is using its dominant position to engage in what the committee terms as trade restrictive practices, such as engraving the universal Euro brown bottles, thereby limiting use of the same by competitors. The Senate also wants the CS to explain whether any beer company has a right to claim ownership of the Euro-designed brown bottles, which existed years before the establishment of any market player. The CS is also expected to explain whether EABL is in violation of the Competition Act through its practices. The coming to reality of the African Continental Free Trade Area is drawing nigh, and with that, the need to establish a continent-wide competition policy is paramount. That's according to Dr. Mukisa Kitui, the Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD. Alex Mwangi reports on the key concerns before that event goes live.
Under the African Continental Free Trade Area was initially scheduled to commence on the 1st of July this year, but was pushed to January 2021 owing to the COVID-19 pandemic.
As we move towards actualizing the protocols already signed, it's extremely important that we start implementing a simple, transparent, effective, and predictable rules of origin regime, which allows for smaller enterprises to overcome the often realized non-tariff barriers to trade.
Inter-African trade is expected to surge on account of the African Continental Free Trade Area next year, but the extent to which trade will be beneficial to businessmen and entrepreneurs will largely depend on whether a level playing field is achieved in good time.
There has to start developing a continent-wide comprehensive competition policy and consumer protection policy. Unless you have a clear policy across the borders on competition, you are going to see the distortionary practices, which you have already started seeing in fertilizer and cement particularly, and beverages, squash the dreams and the hopes of enterprise. And the main casualty when bigger enterprises are abusing competition law is this vulnerability of smaller enterprises.
In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, African nations will need to adopt a paradigm shift if they are to take full advantage of the free trade area.
What it provides us to think beyond the country, because right now, after COVID, what we've noticed is that we're now looking inward, but that inward just doesn't mean within a certain country. It now looks at within the African continent. So the opportunities are very many, both for services and for goods.
The coming into effect of the free trade area in 2021 is expected to help the continent recover from the devastation of the pandemic.
East Africa Business Council did a survey, and we realized that the pandemic, COVID-19, is going to cost our economies of East Africa a lot of money, close to between 37 to 70 billion US dollars will be lost by all the countries together.
The much anticipated Continental Free Trade Area will create a market of 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of $3 trillion US. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Wycliffe Shamia has been confirmed as the substantive Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Markets Authority 10 months after assuming the role in acting capacity. According to a statement from the authority's board chairperson, James Ndegwa, Shamia will be expected to spearhead implementation of the authority's strategic plan, which covers the period 2018 to 2023. Shamia assumes office substantively at a time when the market is depressed owing to the adverse effects of COVID-19. And Shamia is expected to provide stability for the market at a time when new products such as securities, lending and borrowing have been launched. The Africa Industrialization Day will be marked tomorrow under the theme Inclusive and Sustainable Industrialization in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area era. Celebrations for the day will be spearheaded by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Nairobi and are expected to shed light on how Kenya can leverage the new free trade area to strengthen its manufacturing base. Stakeholders in the manufacturing industry have called upon the government to consider reducing the number of taxes borne by manufacturing if the sector is to grow to the envisioned 15% of the economy by 2022. Trade Chief Administrative Secretary Lawrence Karanja says the national government is working with devolved governments to decentralize industry.
I know there have been some challenges, especially on multiple licensing especially the factories, like you are producing something in Machakos. When you go to sell in Kitui, you are told to pay another permit. You move to Kirinyaga, another permit. You go to Kware, another permit. And Senate is seized because it is the one which carries out the supervision stays of that matter. And we are looking for them to come with one single unit of processing.
Local industry that way is very resilient, and because it's a local ecosystem, it always will come out, provided that government doesn't bring in extra pressures. Like now, if we start bringing in new taxes and burden that it's not a good time to do that, because everybody anyways is suffering.
And that is your business news. We take another break. Stay where you are.
Rock Industries brings you Rock Plastic with a variety of kitchenware, ranging from kitchen dishes, cups, plates, clothesline pegs, spoons, and even rulers for learners. All this coming in your preferred size, beautiful colors and texture, and our products are one shop away from where you are across the country. All Rock Industries Limited products are 100% virgin raw material that is cost-friendly. For these and more products, contact our offices on 0722 575619 or 0736-02-8181. You can also visit our offices in Industrial Area, Ndume Road, off Lungalunga Road, Nairobi.
Jiko Koa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Koa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Wakenya, hii fight hatukuchagua, lakini tuko na choice. Tuchague kujilinda. Tuchague kuprotect familia zetu. Tuchague usafi. Kuosha mikono. Kuosha manyumba zetu. Ndio tulinde watoto wetu. Na tuvae mask. Future yetu iko mikononi mwetu. Kenya, let's do it for the ones we love.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using Mortein Doom. Mortein Doom All Insect Killer provides protection in seconds. Not even a single mosquito is spared, because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Doom provides protection in seconds.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
With the Stay Soft refill, saving money is as easy as snip, pour, mix with water, and shake. Stay Soft refill. It's 2 liters of Stay Soft for up to 30% less.
Light it up, dynamite. Shining through the city with a little fucking soul. Light it up like dynamite. This is
Jiko Koa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Koa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Thanks for staying with us. The Mathare Mental Hospital Health Board is now in place as the government takes the first step in fulfilling its pledge of giving priority to the long-ignored mental wellness of its citizens. In his State of the Nation address early this month, the President pledged an upscaling of measures to improve mental health. According to the Ministry of Health, mental health cases have spiraled in the last few months owing to job losses, huge losses in businesses, and even lack of freedom of association in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19.
For many years, we have let down those of our society members who are mentally challenged, all the way from being hidden in homes, mistreated in institutions, ignored by society, stigmatized in a manner that is not befitting of human treatment. And therefore today we want to start the journey to remove that stigma. The vision is to establish a regional mental research, teaching and referral hospital, and I would like to disclose that ultimately this hospital will be located in our 200-acre land in Karen.
Now, in keeping its commitment to empower audiences, Nation Media Group has become the first media house to launch a new podcast service under its digital brand, Nation.Africa. Through the digital platform, which seeks to revolutionize the way that news is consumed, audiences will now be able to discover, enjoy, and engage with African stories. In telling the dreams, ways and stories of the African people, Nation will deliver the vibe of Africa. Genres such as sports, entertainment, lifestyle, hard news and soft news will be featured. The release of episode 1 of the podcast series is already up. That is case number 0. This is an investigation into the disappearance of journalist turned blogger Bogonko Bosire. Members of the public can access the podcast through www.nation.africa/audio. All right, plenty to look forward to. Now, the sports news is coming up next with Watson Karuma, but check this out. It is RoboV, and that is a robot that works in a sports shop in the Japanese city of Osaka, where he usually directs shoppers to what they're looking for. But during the pandemic, he has a new task, reminding customers who are not wearing a mask to put one on and asking people to keep their distance when queuing. Have a look at that.
Leo Safaricom wanasherehekea miaka 20 na wewe. Piga star 444 star 20 hasi. Tumia shilingi 20 pekee utunukiwe 20 minutes na 20 MB.
Parenting is all about learning when to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Pata kila kitu upendacho kwa M-Pesa kupitia star 334 hash.
I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected. We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. It's something that really Kenyans should be proud upon.
Even if you do not use credit as often, it is good to have the ability to do so in the event of an emergency, as well as help establish a good credit rating and a subsequent possibility of obtaining additional credit. Visit www.stimasacco.com/credit products/ for more information.
We are a reflection of you. We are a stable, financially sound institution providing tailor-made services to add value to your life, time and money. We are guided by your aspiration. We are Stima Sacco, a true reflection of you.
Golden rules for clear and smooth skin, brought to you by Mentholatum Acnes. Acne Sealing Gel gives you a visibly clear and smoother skin. It kills acne-causing bacteria and prevents formation of breakouts, controls excess oils and unclogs pores.
When it comes to pimple care, Acne's Creamy Wash contains multiple vitamins and removes excessive oil and dirt. Acne's Toner rejuvenates skin. Acne's Sealing Gel fights bacteria.
Bila worries, Christina Naivas is now on with the biggest and tastiest offers this festive season. Every day, 350 winners Kula shopping voucher worth 2,000 shillings. All you need to do is simply present your Naivas card when you shop for your chance to be one of the winners. Naivas saves you money.
Benefits of African Oolong tea. Good for slimming without side effects. It should be used with hot water only, no sugar or milk. It helps to reduce the rate of aging. It cuts back the infectivity of bacteria and makes weight loss easier.
African Oolong tea is a proudly Kenyan tea brought to you by Akman Limited. It's available in all leading supermarkets, chemists, gift shops and Jumia online. To place an order or get in touch with us, contact us on the listed address on your screen.
This actually allegedly happened down south this week.
Sally, touch your stomach. Are you working?
No, Papa.
Hii ni njaa gani yenye mtu anakushika tu tumbo na immediately anajua wewe hata kazi hauna?
Touch your stomach. Are you working?
No, Papa.
Niweza tu explain hiyo horsepower.
Yeah, okay. Horsepower is
ni horse.
Horse, not horsepower.
How much time does it take to master gari your design?
Said you have to be really interested.
Si ujua madem wote uko interested in gari.
Labda kubebwa.
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate.
Welcome to NTV Sport. I'm Watson Karuma. Now, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya has handed over the official key to the to the basketball Morans for the upcoming 2021 Afro-Basket qualifiers. The Morans have been training at the Nyayo National Stadium Gymnasium and today took COVID-19 tests ahead of their departure for Rwanda. Head coach Clifford Ward is optimistic. Joel Awiki, Preston Bungei, who plays the 27th of November in Kigali. Angola, Senegal and Mozambique. NOC assured the team of continued support, more so during the coronavirus pandemic.
We've been training hard
really trying to get the fitness and the ball work and the team chemistry in order. Since the pandemic, we split, we could not train as a team.
It will be very good if they can go very well, because be able to inspire all the other people who have not been participating training, so that people know it's time to get.
Now, former Harambee Stars is a new Wazito FC head coach. The 44 has a 4-year deal ahead of the 2020-21 FKF Premier League season that kicks off in a week's time. Kimanzi has immense experience and has handled the Harambee Stars and the national under-23 team before. At club level, he has coached Mathare United, Sofapaka FC and Tusker FC. Kimanzi will be assisted by former Thika United coach John Kamau, and Samuel Koko will be handling the goalkeeping department. Wazito is scheduled to open their campaign against Kariobangi Sharks at the Kasarani Stadium.
We have a technical bench that can get the players realize what they want to do and where they want to be. So we try to get that. And there's that aspect of also, because I saw the culture itself of the club, the vision that the club wants. We will see together with my team if we can be able to make that to be very sound.
Now, the national under-17 coach, that is Oliver Page, is currently going around the country in search of the next generation of football players. The coach is recruiting players to the national under-17 team, whose next assignment is the upcoming Sekafa Under-17 Championship. The exercise kicked off late last week and has covered Nairobi, Thika, Nakuru, Kisumu, Western and Lower Eastern. The selected players will join national team camp for the from the 24th of this month, ahead of the regional competition, which runs between the 13th to the 28th of December in Rwanda. Kenya is in Pool B alongside Uganda and Ethiopia.
There has to be a pre-selection, that's one thing. Number two, therefore, we make a tournament normally with 4 teams, so we can see each player 3 times. And then I think I have some experience as I worked as a scout in the Center of Excellence from Cologne.
Now, a first international assignment for Nakuru Youth Sports Association, that is NYSA, hangs in the balance due to finances. The under-20 team is set to compete in Tanzania next month, but needs some extra cash in order to for the players to travel. Our reporter Ruth Sarmoi caught up with the team in training ahead of the Chipukizi Cup.
The Nakuru Youth Sports Association Under-20 team has been eagerly waiting for the Chipukizi Cup. It is their first trip and competition outside the country. The competition kicks off on the 8th to the 13th of December. 15-year-old Danson Onyango is looking forward to a successful assignment. The teenager has also been called up to the national team Under-17.
Kwa sasa tunachapa mazoezi ndio tukienda hiyo Tanzania tuko sawa physically, mentally. Na ndo tushinde. Kwa sasa ndo tunapiga dribblings za footwork, then after hapo hivyo tutapiga tiles za leg strength, then pia tunapiga sprinting ya hiyo stamina.
The team says it lost some crucial training days due to the coronavirus pandemic. The traveling team of 20 is now more aware of the risks.
Kila mtu anafaa bebe mask, unakuja na maji lita 1, alafu mazoezi pia inasaidia, unajua.
The rising number of infection across the country has caused alarm, but the coach says necessary measures will remain in place in Kenya and in Tanzania.
The parents are worried, but they are telling us, coach, if you get the chance, kindly just do it, because we never know what will happen. You might go there, you end up selling a kid or 2, and the project is on and going.
In less than 2 weeks, this team is expected to travel to Tanzania for a tournament that will hopefully open doors for some of the players within the team. However, financial and logistical challenges still stand in their way.
We don't know whether we'll go to the tournament, but I'm still positive. It's going up to this 660,000 for the whole contingent going to TZ.
So far, the team has only received pledges from individuals, but is hopeful that the Nakuru County Government, through its sports ministry, will come to their rescue. Nakuru Youth Sports Association also has chess, rugby and basketball programs for young residents between 7 to 20 years. Ruth Sarmoi for NTV Sports, Nakuru.
Now, Romelu Lukaku helped fire Belgium into the UEFA Nations League finals by scoring twice in a 4-2 win over Denmark, while Italy also secured a place in the last four with victory away to Bosnia and Herzegovina. The world's #1 ranked side, that's Belgium, only required a draw from their last League A Group 2 game at home to Denmark and took an early lead through Yuri Telemans. Jonas Wind equalized for Denmark, and Lukaku got a second-half double, and Kevin De Bruyne made sure of the victory. Nacer Chadli scored an own goal in the 4-2 win. Now, Italy secured first place in Group 1 with a 2-0 triumph in Sarajevo, thanks to a goal in each half from Torino's Andrea Bellotti and Domenici Berardi of Sassuolo. That ensured they finished a point ahead of the Netherlands, who came from behind to beat Poland 2-1 away, with captain Giorgino Wijnaldum scoring the winner after Memphis Depay's penalty cancelled out Kamil Joviek's opener. Italy and Belgium join Spain and World Cup holders France in a final tournament, which is expected to be held in Italy in October next year. Now, England have more than one eye on that tournament, with the semi-finals and final scheduled for Wembley, and Gareth Southgate's team rounded out their Nations League campaign with a 4-0 win over Iceland. Declan Rice and Mason Mount scored in the first half, and Manchester City's Phil Foden got his first international goals with a late brace. Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely night.
And that is your sports news, which closes the broadcast tonight. David Agondoa has joined us in sign language interpretation. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. Do take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Zainab Ismail is back tomorrow, and she will take the lead on NTV Weekend Edition. I'll be back at 1 o'clock though. See you then.